Okay, good day viewers. Welcome to the CUMSA studio. And today here with me we have Dr. SOTER, Associate Professor in the Department of Community Medicine, University of Calabar. And we are going to be talking about a very important and pivotal topic, which is the role of multidisciplinary research in nation building, opportunities in research, including acquiring grants and funds for research purposes from international and local agencies. It's going to be a very timely section, and right now, sir, over to you about the discourse.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, viewers. As you rightly introduced me, my name is Dr. SOTER. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Community Medicine, University of Calabar, and honorary chief consultant in the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. In the next couple of minutes, I'll be talking about the role of multidisciplinary research and grants in nation building. I'm going to take you through this outline. First, I'm going to tell us about how complex the human society is and which would need a multidisciplinary research in order to address this complexity. Then I will define some terms. What is research? And what is multidisciplinary research? And I'll take us through the drivers for multidisciplinary research as well as the need for this research. Why do we have to do a multidisciplinary research in order to address the complexity of the human society? Next would be the roles of grants as well as the type of grants that students, either undergraduate or postgraduate, can access in order to build a nation, to contribute to nation building. And then I will share my personal experiences, and perhaps that could motivate students in this area. Then we shall conclude. The human society is very complex, and I want to let you know, and this is basically because of man's interaction with nature. It's complex. Man is situated here on earth, and the part of nature that is intimately related with man is the biosphere. And there are other forms of nature like the oceans, the seas, the land. So man's activities has led to incursions into nature, and that relationship has consequences. And all of these have led to complexities. So what we need to understand, for instance, the best well-known example of consequences of such relationship is the concept of global climate change. So we know that man's activities related to the release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere or the release of greenhouse gases and even burning of fossil fuels, all of these have led to increase the temperature of the universe, of the earth. Research has shown that the planet's average temperature, surface temperature, increased by 0.8 Celsius in the first decade of the 21st century compared to the first decade of the 20th century. And 0.8 degrees Celsius looks very small, but that has a lot of consequences, like you know, global warming. And these are some of the things we can tell about global warming, some of the signs. We can tell that the temperature has risen, there's intense rainfall in some part of the universe, some part of the world. There is acidification of the ocean, the Arctic ice is melting, and the ocean level, sea level is rising. And all of these have got effect on man. For instance, when there's too much rainfall, there's a tendency to have epidemics, malaria, some parts of the world that haven't been registered, have been reported. So this complexity needs to be deconstructed into smaller fragments, smaller units, in order for us to understand its complexity. And the emergence of disciplines to understudy these smaller fragments have led to disciplinary research, multidisciplinary research that will help man to understand nature and how complex the society is. Therefore, there is a need for research from different fields, researchers coming together, working together to understand nature for the purpose of making man's existence here worthwhile living. Therefore, researchers from different disciplines, through collaboration, can do a lot to solve real-world problems. And solving these problems, in many ways, contributes to nation building. So, what is research? In common parlance, research refers to search for knowledge. In our day-to-day activity, we do research without even knowing it. So, for instance, the medical students have got a class scheduled at 12 noon, and somehow the time changes. A student will want to ask, or would want to know, what has happened? What led to this change in the schedule? When is the new time? How then can we get all the members of class to know that the time has changed so they can work towards meeting the new time that they have to be in class? So when you ask these questions, you are doing a research, even though it is not subjected to rigorous methods and scientific methods. But that's the kind of research because you are searching for knowledge. That's comparlant definition of what research is. It is defined, I'm talking about research, it is defined as the systematic method consisting of defining a problem, collecting facts about the problem, analyzing the facts, and reaching conclusions. In other words, research is done to solve a problem. And in solving the problem, you have to define what the problem is and gather evidence through interviews to get the facts about the research. Then you analyze those facts and then reach your conclusions. There are two types of research. There is the fundamental research that seeks to gain knowledge and understanding of the world. The basic attribute here is to seek to gain knowledge and understanding. Then there is the other one, which is the applied research, which seeks to solve practical problems through scientific investigation. Here, it goes beyond seeking knowledge. Now it is about solving problems, and that is applied research. Having defined what research is, now let's talk about what multidisciplinary research is all about. There are many vague terms used. Some school of thought have used the word multidisciplinary research, others have used the term interdisciplinary research, and others have used the term transdisciplinary research. And all of this involve collaboration with different disciplines. There is no clear-cut differentiation between these terms. When there is collaboration between two different disciplines, and that is what it often is, this is common to these three terms that I just mentioned. What is common to all of them? I'm talking about multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. What is common to them all is that there is collaboration between people from different disciplines. What distinguishes them is the degree of collaboration. So these are big terms that are used interchangeably, but our focus is multidisciplinary research, which is the search for knowledge through systematic methods for an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge involving a combination of several disciplines. So it is research. But this time, it involves researchers from different disciplines who are using a systematic method it is well laid out. There's a way to do it. If you must do a research, there are laid down procedures on how to do them. They are scientific, they are rigorous, and they must be followed. Hence, we can say that multidisciplinary research is a subset of research collaboration. We want to know what are the drivers for multidisciplinary research. The one that is very obvious is that there is innate curiosity to understand the complex nature of society. Man is very curious. Man wants to understand his environment, which is the reason, for instance, people have traveled to the outer space or to the moon to study the world. Satellites have been launched into the outer space. Out of innate curiosity, man wants to know how his world functions. Another driver is the critical need to solve societal problems, like I rightly defined multidisciplinary research as solving problems. We know we have huge problems around us, like I mentioned earlier, interaction between man and nature, leading to outbreak of epidemics and global warming, and all of this creating problems for man here on earth. And so, in order then to solve these problems that have arisen from man's interaction with nature, then there is a critical need to do research to solve these problems. Another driver for doing multidisciplinary research is that there are available tools that become transformational when applied to disciplines outside those that developed them. For instance, X-rays were discovered by physicists, and researchers have gone on to look at how these X-rays can be used to treat or to diagnose conditions in medicine. So we're moving from physics to medicine. Application of X-rays that were discovered by physicists then to solve or diagnose disease conditions, for instance, through the use of X-rays. So if somebody takes an X-ray of the chest and he has a tuberculosis, he has got tuberculosis or he's got a pneumonia, it's easy to make a diagnosis. Then there is, another example is, for instance, the creation of the internet by the military. The internet was created by the military for such purposes, but now it's being used in the area of communication. Like this is being streamed online to internet. We are applying this principle that was created by the military, for instance, to benefit from sharing ideas and communicating with one another. Another driver for doing multidisciplinary research is the concept of globalization and liberalization, and all these have given rise to many problems and challenges. So man then needs to really understand and perhaps regulate globalization in a way that it affects man positively. Then we want to talk about the need for doing multidisciplinary research. Like I said earlier, the problems in the society are quite complex, and this requires knowledge of all of its aspects. So for instance, we have a discipline called economics. They want to, for instance, understand the cost effectiveness of interventions. So if any government has got a program to roll out, an economist would like to know, even if this program has got some effect, positive effect, is it cost effective? If the government is going to spend huge sums of money to solve a problem, and then there's an alternative, a health economist will want to know which of these two interventions will be more cost effective to solve this problem. That's the concern of the health economist. And then we have the field of anthropology, which seeks to, or which acknowledges local customs and practices and social structures. An anthropologist wants to understand how, for instance, customs, cultures affect practices. So, for instance, we know about the female genital mutilation, which is practiced in some places. It's cultural. And anthropologists want to know why people would want to practice female genital mutilation or female genital cutting, as the case may be. Then a sociologist wants to focus on addressing social inequities and how to empower the poor. This is a discipline. We know about the social determinants of health, which talks about where man is born, where he lives, where he works. All of these affect his health. And that is what a sociologist would want to do. In medicine, we want to treat people in order to improve their health and well-being. And the psychologists want to attribute to responsibilities of individual relationships, or what is it that happens in the workplace, in the home, in the family, and how can all of these affect the well-being of individuals. So I have just mentioned to you various disciplines. And any research that employs a single disciplinary approach can be considered to be incomplete. If you want to do a thorough, rigorous study to change, to inform or influence policy, then there is a need to bring researchers from different disciplines to explain or to unravel the problems confronting human beings. So this is the biggest need, or perhaps the greatest need, for doing a multidisciplinary research, bringing people who have expertise in different fields together to look at different components of any problem that exists and seeking how to bring all of these solutions together in a way that any problem is robust, addressed in a way that is very robust and complete. Another need for doing a multidisciplinary research is that societal problems are related to one another, like I just talked about global warming and how the impact of temperature increase affects man negatively, for instance, through flooding or temperature increase or acidification of the ocean. So all of these are very, very related, and in order to seek ways to address this problem, that all of these disciplines, researchers from different disciplines, have to come together to explain some, if not all, of the phenomena. One attribute of doing a multidisciplinary research is that for it to be effective, it needs teamwork, because you have got different people from different disciplines. The tendency for it is to be very confusing. But once there is teamwork and each person understands his role and responsibility in the research and his contribution to it, then it's easier to bring people from different disciplines together to work together. There has to be leadership. Somebody must take leadership. Somebody must play a leading role, and every other person follows. That doesn't mean that the leader plays a more significant role than other persons in the team. It's just that somebody must take the lead. And then there has to be tolerance of differences and ambiguity. Sometimes you find people from different disciplines having collision of ideas. All these ideas are on a colliding course. And this is because they are not tolerant of one another. For instance, a qualitative researcher would think that it's not all about numbers, which is the focus of quantitative researchers. Quantitative researchers are interested in numbers. What is the p-value? What's the proportion for this? How statistically significant is this relationship or this association? That's the emphasis and focus of a quantitative researcher. However, a qualitative researcher is interested in meanings, in concepts, in ideas, in the depth of knowledge relating anything, relating to any attribute that is being investigated. So once there's some form of tolerance for one another, then it's easy to bring people from different disciplines together to address whatever problem that is being investigated. And there has to be selflessness. It's not about me alone, it's not about you alone. It has to be about addressing the problem that will solve humanity's challenges. So in doing multidisciplinary research has to be, one has to do away with self-centeredness. Now I'll bring you to research collaborations. And it's basically about who can be part of a research collaboration. It's either there is researchers from different disciplines, either from universities collaborating with researchers from another university, or it is a case that it is a university collaborating with a research institution, or a research institution collaborating with another university, or research institution versus research institution. There's no university here in this instance. So these are the types of collaborations. I'll go through them again. University versus university, university, research institution, university, or research institution versus research institution. But what matters at the end of it all is that there are benefits to be derived from such collaborations. And those benefits should be dovetailed. One, to solve problems. Number two, there could be peer publications that emanate from such collaborations. It can also enhance one's career opportunities when there is such collaborations. It leads to personal development. So you grow from one level to the other in such collaborations because you get to learn not only what relates to your discipline, but also what is about another discipline. Another benefit is that you get to learn new cultures, learn new languages, maybe there are new interests or new experiences, because some of these collaborations will need you to travel from one part of the world to another. So if you find yourself in Asia, for instance, you want to learn about the culture of the people in India or in China, you want to learn their language. Some of the experiences would even mean that you can settle down to marry or get a spouse from such a place you travel to. So those are experiences, those are some of the benefits that will come from research collaborations. One could make lifelong friends from such collaborations.